We will start the questions, please.
Shan, so the main headline there is obviously Rizwan places Sarfaraz. Why did you reach that conclusion?
I think there's a lot of thinking behind it. Firstly, I'd like to go back to why we played Sarfaraz. I think we wanted to set a precedent where we wanted to reward people that have been playing red ball consistently in domestic cricket over the last few years. You saw that with the selection of Khurram Shahzad and Amir Jamal, even though I think a lot of people felt that it was quite risky putting two debutants out there. But I thought that they handled themselves well, and we have to give them credit that their first outing against Australia in Australia was quite decent. So the reason of playing Sarfaraz was pretty much the same. I know people go back to stats and Rizwan averages very well in Sana. Firstly, there's no competition between the two. They're equally important to the team. Whatever competition we feel there's healthy competition. We know what Rizwan has done, but we gave Sarfaraz the benefit because he averaged 56.5 when he came to Australia in the last tour in 2016. Yes, that's been quite a while, but he's also played red ball consistently in the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy for the last few years. Rizwan just came from the World Cup, a lot of white ball cricket, so we felt that he needed some more time, and he also had a gap in Test cricket where when Sarfaraz took over from him during the New Zealand series, Sarfaraz had an outstanding performance there, and Rizwan really hadn't played a lot of Test cricket or red ball cricket. Let's put it to red ball cricket because we don't really play enough Test cricket all over the year. So there was some method to it. So we thought that we would go with Saifi in terms of he's been there, he's played more red ball cricket. Karachi had a very good season where he scored a lot of runs. He was the MVP of the tournament. And that allowed us some time to get a player like Rizwan into shape. For me, if I had it my way or if we had it our way, we'd ideally like both to play, but that's not possible. But now we think that Rizwan is ready and we can give Saifi that little bit of break to sort of recoup, come back, and again, more of a tactical decision in terms of the conditions and what we can get best out of each player in those conditions.
So do you think now that after one test you have got this Rizwan?
Look, I wouldn't think that one change would have changed the whole course of the game. I think if we're being honest in terms of honestly assessing the game, I thought we lost the game in the first 2 days. They batted very well. They batted at 4.5 runs and over. And then when we batted around 2.6, 2.7. And they got the 10 wickets in that time, whereas we took a longer time and conceded a lot of runs to get those 10 wickets. So for us, it was the team as a whole. I don't think one person can sort of change the course of a match. For us, this decision is tactical, looking at the conditions, and obviously giving the best possible opportunity to any player that has played red ball consistently, and that's what we want to do going forwards, because I feel a lot of the times that we don't play enough test matches in 1 year, and we're playing 5 this year. We played how many? 6 this year, and we're scheduled to play what, 5? 5 this year. The Quaid-e-Azam Trophy is the only red ball tournament that sort of, yes, we've got the departmental cricket coming back again, but the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy has been the only other red ball cricket for most of the players. So we want players that play red ball consistently, and we also have to look at what's best tactically. So now we're making that tactical decision.
Over the past?
I think we wanted to break away a bit from the traditional sort of schedule that surrounds the Boxing Day Test match. I thought 5 sessions of practice would have been very monotonous. So the team management floated an idea that we'll play a 2-day practice game. We also had a squad of 18. Yes, it's been trimmed down. Unfortunately, that was the only downside of the match, that we've had a squad of 18, 19 including when Sajid joined the squad, that's been trimmed down quite a lot, significantly. So that didn't really give us that sort of way of testing each and every one of those players out in those two-day game. We had to restrict it to 13 and 14 places. But the whole method was that we'll go to the ground, we'll spend when you spend 8 to 10 hours at the ground, you get a bit of a feel that you would get in a test match. And just make the practice more intensive, whereas if you're in the nets, there are no consequences, it can get very monotonous. So everything was a bit specific towards match preparation. We weren't looking at the conditions, it was more how can we sync ourselves to play a test match again, because an 8-day gap is quite a lot.
Why the players announced instead of?
I think we'd like to have one final look at the pitch. Our last look at the pitch was on the 21st. Then we went at the Junction Oval, and we had a off day yesterday, and then it's been raining today. So I think we should be a bit sensible, make sure that we have a full look at the pitch, and let's say if we need to play a certain kind of bowler or batsman, then we would make that decision. That's why we announced the 12, so the players can also have some clarity. Test is always never a fair assessment. I think you need time. You need a bit more time, because you've already got a squad that's been playing Test cricket for a while. You have to look at the domestic structure. You have to look at the players available for red ball cricket. A lot of things that you need before you can really force that way of playing. You need players to buy in. We want to give players ample opportunity to buy into the way we want to play, and there are some things that we've said from the outset that we'd like to play a more attractive brand of Test cricket. We did that in Sri Lanka. We got some results as well. So the challenge now is to do it against the best teams in world cricket. It was hard out there in Perth, but I still feel there were some positives that probably we didn't do back when we were here in 2019. So yes, again, we don't want to force people to play a certain way, but yes, we'd like to, we've outlined certain things that we want to do better. Like I said, when Australia scored, they scored at 4.5 runs and over. Even though we got the 10 wickets, but they set us back with that. And then when they bowled, they made sure that we didn't get over 3 runs and over. We were 2.6, 2.7. So those are the margins. That's where the test match was lost. Day 4, I thought we saw the pitch. That's where the toss came into play. That's where the cracks came into the play. But the match was well and decided in those 2 days. And if we want to compete against Australia here, we have to start off well. We have to get quickly out of the blocks, and we have to play a positive brand of cricket, which you have to give the guys some time. It can't just happen overnight. It has to be, you have to see how players play naturally. You have to convince them to buy into how you want them to play, and then give them a proper chance, and also try and set the tone yourself, which I thought that I had a decent start in Perth, but couldn't capitalize on it, got out at the wrong time. So these are the things that you want to do, but be patient with the players. Not just because one match hasn't gone our way, we shouldn't just be like, oh, this isn't working, or there's no Pakistan way, or anything like that. We should let our team have some time and then establish themselves.
And part of that buying,
I think what we talked about in the first press conference, we have to be adaptable to different situations. You also have to, I think, give a lot of credit to the openers. When you concede 450 odd runs in the first innings, and you've got heavy legs, and you've been out there for 110 overs. I thought they did the right thing over there, where they negated the new ball and got through some really good spells from top class bowlers. That's what you needed to do in that situation. When I went out, the ball was a bit older, run scoring was a bit easier. So you want to pick your moments, you want to pick your battles, and that's what I want the team to do. Be adaptable to different situations, but yes, be positive and not have a huge margin where the other team's scoring at 4.5 and we're letting them score at 4.5 as a bowling unit, and not picking up those wickets in an earlier phase rather than 110 overs. And the second thing is, as a batting unit, if we're batting 100 overs, we'd like to close that gap and score 350, 360, something like that. So again, it's about, from a personal point of view, it's something that I've enjoyed over the last few years. I think my red ball game in domestic cricket has significantly improved because I started to score at a high rate, but everyone has their own way. But we want the team goal to be there, and the team goal is, as a bowling unit, to take 20 wickets, and as a batting unit, that if we're only batting 100 overs in these conditions, we'd like to score at a high rate. Look, I think Firstly, it's never easy whenever you come back from a serious injury that we all saw at this ground almost more than a year back now. And sort of that was an aggravation of an injury that he got in Sri Lanka. So firstly, that takes immense sort of discipline, work ethic, and sort of willpower to get back into cricket, and also being a fast bowler. I've had the same injury. I was a batsman, so it's much easier for me. But when you're a fast bowler and you have to run through at 25 kilometers an hour, and then sort of the forces that go through when you bowl, that becomes really hard. Red ball cricket's even harder. Shaheen's been the lead of the pack for a while now, and he's put in some great performances for Pakistan, whether it be T20, ODI, or Test cricket. It happens with the best of players. You have to give him that margin. I thought he bowled really well in a lot of spells at Perth. There were a lot of plays and misses, and sometimes that's what you do as an opposition team, where you play off the best bowler and then start scoring. Yes, he was a bit expensive to start off with, but that's Shaheen. He was looking for wickets, and we don't want him to change all. I thought that in Perth, the way he bowled, especially in that second innings and a lot of the first innings, he could have gotten some luck his way. But you give him that time, you give him that space, and it's just about that one click. He's somebody that can turn a match around in an instant. And if he bowls well, I'm sure we'll be on the right side. So we're looking forward to seeing him play over here and really putting up a great performance for Pakistan. मैंने उनकी बात अभी तक पढ़ी नहीं, सुनी नहीं, लेकिन ऑब्वियसली उनका अपना ओपिनियन है, उसको आप रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं. देखें, पेस इम्पॉर्टेंट होती है, लेकिन इस तरीके से हम जब लास्ट टूर पे आए थे 2019 में, तो हम नसीम शाह को भी लाए थे, मूसा को भी लाए थे. उधर पेस था, बट वो एक्सपीरियंस नहीं था. अच्छी चीज़ ये थी, जिस तरीके से मैंने पहले सवाल पे कहा, कि दो लोग खेले जो पाकिस्तान के लिए कंसिस्टेंटली डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट खेलते रहे ओवर द लास्ट 3 years, आमिर जमाल और खुर्रम शहजाद. उनकी परफॉर्मेंस काफ़ी बेहतर थी. एक वक्त लग रहा था जब हमने उस्मान ख्वाजा का वो जब आउट दिया था, ऑब्वियसली वो रिव्यू ओवरटर्न हो गया. उस वक्त तक 15 विकटें ले ली थी और एक अच्छा चांस होता उधर 20 विकटें लेने का. पेस की जहाँ तक बात की, हमने हारिस रऊफ़ की भी कोशिश की थी, इसीलिए कि हमारे पास हारिस रऊफ़ जैसा बॉलर अपने स्क्वाड में हो कि जो हमें थोड़ी पेस प्रोवाइड कर दे. अनफॉर्चुनेटली नसीम इंजर्ड था. शाहीन अपने रिदम में हम बिलीव करते हैं, वो जब बॉलिंग कर रहा होता है, ही इज़ अप देयर इन टर्म्स ऑफ पेस. ये चीज़ें, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये चीज़ें आप कलेक्टिवली देखते हैं कि किस तरीके से आपकी टीम का कॉम्बिनेशन बनता है, क्या बनता है. लेकिन रेड बॉल क्रिकेट में अभी हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये है कि कौन लोग रेड बॉल क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं रेगुलरली डोमेस्टिकली, किन लोगों की परफॉर्मेंसेस हैं. और आई थिंक इस सिलेक्शन में भी, जैसे हमने 12 का स्क्वाड अनाउंस किया, इसमें मीर हमज़ा भी हैं जिन्होंने काफ़ी रेड बॉल क्रिकेट खेली है, काफ़ी आउट किए हैं. हसन अली की टेस्ट क्रिकेट में पाकिस्तान के लिए बहुत परफॉर्मेंसेस हैं. पिछले 2 साल से वो काउंटी क्रिकेट रेड बॉल खेल रहे हैं. तो इस वक्त हमें एक आप कह सकते हैं कि एक ट्रांजिशनल प्रोसेस है, जिसमें आप कुछ चीज़ें ढूंढ भी रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से हम 20 आउट कर सकते हैं, चाहे वो हमें पेस से चाहिए, चाहे वो हमें एक्यूरेसी से चाहिए. क्योंकि देखें, एंड में आपने 20 विकटें लेनी है. आप 150 पे बॉल कर लें, वो आई डोंट थिंक इतना मैटर करता है. जब 20 विकटें लेंगे तब हम मैचेस जीतेंगे. देखें, मैं यही समझता हूँ कि जो वर्ड ड्रॉप है वो इधर काफ़ी एक हार्श वर्ड होता है. हमने भी जिस तरीके से प्रेजेंट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं वो यही है कि हमने टैक्टिकली कोशिश की है कि जो इन कंडीशंस में जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल टीम हो पाकिस्तान की, हम उसको खिलाएं. फिर मैंने बोला कि उनको जो प्रायोरिटी दी गई थी वो इसलिए दी गई थी कि उनकी जो न्यूजीलैंड की सीरीज़ थी, एक सीरीज़ पहले उनको उसमें कंकशन हो गया था. उससे पहले उसमें वो मैन ऑफ द सीरीज़ थे. उन्होंने 4 साल बाद बहुत ही अच्छा कमबैक किया था. इस साल कराची की टीम को लीड किया था डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट में, मोस्ट वैल्यूबल प्लेयर भी बने. टीम भी उनकी चैम्पियनशिप जीती. पिछले कई सालों से उन्होंने डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट खेली है. उनकी सबसे बड़ी क्वालिटी ये है कि वो चाहे क्लब का मैच खेलें, चाहे वो इंटरनेशनल मैच खेलें, उनकी जो इंटेंसिटी होती है मैच की वो वही होती है. लेकिन रिजवान का रिकॉर्ड देखते हुए इन कंडीशंस में वो ज़्यादा रीसेंट था. हमने ये सोचा कि इस वक्त एक बेहतर चीज़ होगी कि टैक्टिकली हम रिजवान को इंक्लूड करें और सैफ़ी भाई को थोड़ा रेस्ट दें, कि वो उनको थोड़ा टाइम मिले, और फिर जब वो कम बैक करें, जो उनको कंडीशन सूट होंगी, वहाँ हम ज़रूर उनको भी टैक्टिकली कंसिडर करेंगे.
अच्छा, वेस्ट टेस्ट मैच की बात करें तो उस पर काफ़ी तनकीद
जो मैंने बोला कि उसमें स्टार्ट जो था उसमें आई थिंक ओपनर्स ने बहुत अच्छा खेला। जब आप 100-110 ओवर्स फील्डिंग करते हैं, 400 रन्स का डेफिसिट होता है, दूसरी टीम फ्रेश होती है, तो और कंडीशंस हमने देखी थी पर्थ में कैसी थी, तो उधर एक अच्छा स्टार्ट था कि ओपनर्स ने जाके न्यू बॉल को वो किया। लेकिन जैसे हमने बात की, हमारा एक टीम टारगेट है, एक टीम गोल है। अगर हमारी टीम 100 ओवर्स खेल रही है तो हमें वो मार्जिन थोड़ा सा बेहतर करना होगा। आई थिंक ये एक इम्प्रूवमेंट है जो हमें करनी होगी। और हम तनकीद को नहीं देखते, हम इसको ऑनेस्टली अपने अंदर अपने आप को रखते हुए देखते हैं कि हमारी क्या मिस्टेक थी। और आप ये ज़रूर कह सकते हैं कि आजकल की जो टेस्ट क्रिकेट है उसमें आपको थोड़ा सा तेज़ खेलना पड़ेगा। थोड़ा सा जब आप तेज़ खेलेंगे तब वो जो डेफिसिट है वो कम होगा या आपको मार्जिन मिलेगा मैचेस जीतने का। तो ये एक चीज़ है जिस पे हम गौर कर रहे हैं इम्प्रूवमेंट की।
लास्ट क्वेश्चन शान, एक कंपैरिजन।
ये एक चीज़ तो आपको एक्सेप्ट करनी है कि अगर आप फास्ट बॉलर हैं और आप टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं, इंजरीज़ तो होंगी। आपने पैट कमिंस की बहुत अच्छी मिसाल दी है, लेकिन पैट कमिंस जब 20 साल के थे, 18 साल के थे, उनको काफ़ी इंजरीज़ हुई। और क्रेडिट देना चाहिए पैट कमिंस को, क्रिकेट ऑस्ट्रेलिया को, कि किस तरीके से उनकी प्रोग्रेशन हुई। रेड बॉल देखें, फास्ट बॉलिंग ऑलमोस्ट अगर आप ऑनेस्टली देखें ह्यूमनली इम्पॉसिबल है। जो फास्ट बॉलर्स के लोड्स होते हैं टेस्ट क्रिकेट में, जो डिस्टेंसेस वो कवर करते हैं, जिन स्पीड्स में करते हैं, जो फोर्सेस जो हम लोग साइंटिस्ट नहीं हैं, बट जो लोग हमें बताते हैं, एक्सपर्ट्स बताते हैं, जो साइंटिफिकली जो चीज़ें हैं, फास्ट बॉलिंग बिल्कुल ह्यूमनली इम्पॉसिबल होती है। फिर आप ज़रा सा मार्जिन दें अपने बॉलर्स को कि वो टेस्ट क्रिकेट अभी तक नहीं, खुर्रम शहजाद नहीं खेले हुए थे। जो टेस्ट क्रिकेट का लोड है वो डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट का लोड नहीं है। तो ये कुछ चीज़ें हमें अपनी फ़िटनेस में, हमें अपनी रूटीन्स में, हमें मे बी अपनी रेड बॉल क्रिकेट भी बढ़ानी होगी। आई थिंक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी होगी कि जैसे आपने खुर्रम का नाम लिया और हमारे बॉलर्स हैं, रेगुलरली जाके मे बी काउंटी क्रिकेट के रेड बॉल मैचेस खेलें। क्योंकि आई फील आपकी बॉडी टूटेगी ज़रूर, लेकिन ये बनेगी कैसे कि बार बार जब आप रेड बॉल क्रिकेट खेलेंगे, आप 30 ओवर 40 ओवर करेंगे, तब जाके आपकी बॉडी बनेगी। और आपके आउटसाइड क्या कहते हैं क्रिकेटिंग फील्ड, आपकी जब एक फ़िटनेस प्रोग्राम सेट होगा, आपकी वो चीज़ जो ऑलरेडी हो रहे हैं वो चीज़ें हो रही हैं। बट ये कुछ चीज़ें जो आप ग्राउंड में रह के ही सीखेंगे, बार बार ओवर्स करके सीखेंगे। आई थिंक ऑस्ट्रेलियन बॉलर्स की जहाँ तक आपने बात की, वो यूज़ टू भी हैं 25 ओवर करना है एक इनिंग्स में, 30 ओवर करना है एक इनिंग्स में। तो ये एक चीज़ है, जब हम ज़्यादा रेड बॉल क्रिकेट खेलेंगे, ज़्यादा टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेलेंगे, तो आपको ज़रूर इम्प्रूवमेंट नज़र आएगी हमारे बॉलर्स में।
थैंक यू।